I love sound effects. I have a question for you. You and I play live music. We might play in a band. We might play solo. We might play in duos, things like that. We play a lot of bars and clubs, sometimes things like coffee shops, churches, maybe. In my case, I play a lot of weddings and corporate events, and sometimes bigger productions than that. Why do you think that it might be that we are in so much competition for private work like that from someone like a DJ? DJs are as common, if not more common, than live bands these days. And there may be some reasons for that, but it's probably not what you think. The obvious answer might be price. Yeah, now sure, that's a possibility. A DJ might cost less than a live band for a performance at a wedding or a corporate event or something like that. But it's not just that. DJs do some things really well that live bands don't always execute as well. And that's what I want to talk about today. Today, let's talk about some DJ-inspired strategies that we can use to level up our performances on stage and try to execute a better performance overall. So today, I encourage you to think like a DJ. Welcome back to Danny Robertson Music, where we're helping you be the performer that you are meant to be. I'm Danny Robertson. Thank you for joining me again this week. Before we dive into the topic of thinking like a DJ, I just want to point out, if you haven't checked out DannyRobertsonMusic.com yet, please do. There's a whole lot that we offer there that is not on these channels, not on this YouTube channel, not where we are on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. You can find a whole lot of deep dive information to help you level up things like your public speaking and your performance on stage at DannyRobertsonMusic.com. So thinking like a DJ, why would that be important? DJs often tend to dominate the private event space, weddings, corporate events, private parties, birthdays, proms, things like that. And it's because of a few things. Yes, there is that conversation about price. DJs can often come in at a lower price for a special event than a live band can, but they also do some other things really well. They work alone, so it's one person to deal with as opposed to a whole band. They're also really good at seamlessly transitioning between songs so that the show doesn't really have to stop. It can continue on, and they are also very good at gauging what an audience is capable of doing. If the audience is getting tired, they know how to bring in that high energy song to pump that audience up for the next part of the evening. Now, for a live band to compete, our value has to go beyond just playing music. You need to understand that you are not just delivering the music, you are delivering the energy, the flow of the night, and the experience that the audience gets to have, which makes the live band worth the extra investment over a DJ. So to translate all of that, it's simple. You can't just sound good. You have to deliver an experience to your audience. So how do we deliver that amazing experience to our live audience? Well, there's a few things that DJs do really well that we can actually learn from in a live band. The first is owning the flow of the night. Do what a DJ does, but as a live band, you've got to do it better. You can't just pick out a set list and just run through the songs on the set list. You have to understand how to make the transition between the songs. You have to understand what you're going to say to the audience, both while you're singing the songs and in between the music, because unlike a DJ, bands usually have to stop periodically. DJs never stop their party. Even when they're playing in live bands, I can tell you that my friend Rod, who plays in the disco band that I've worked with periodically here, when the band stops playing, Rod stays on stage and DJs in between the times where the band takes a break. There's always something happening, quick transitions. If there's some kind of announcement that's happening, the music still stays there underneath that speaking. They never stop the show. Bands need to do their best to eliminate that dead space between songs. You either need to talk to the audience or you need to transition from one song to the next quickly. Learn to use things like medleys or mashups. Get ready to cue the next song right away. Don't look around and go, are we ready to go? Be as ready as you can to play. And one thing that I like to do as a keyboardist, and I think that this can be done by keyboard, bass, guitar, drums, if there's a break, learn to fill it up a little bit. Vamp in some way if you need to, talk if you need to, but don't let there be dead space. If you're doing those kinds of things to own the flow, one of the main advantages that a band has over a DJ is their ability to create a larger visual energy. People in the audience typically love live instruments. They love movement on stage. They love the energy of that. And they really love live singing. If you get a really good singer, that singer can carry the night by themselves. I've got a few of those that I've been lucky enough to play with that are just absolutely amazing on stage. If you learn to combine that visual show with a DJ like flow that really doesn't ever quit, you're going to be unstoppable as a live band. So create that really visual energy and learn to own the flow of your show. So the next thing that DJs do really, really well that we could learn from and execute in a live band setting as well is to have creative song design, finding ways to connect between two songs that make the songs flow together in a way that you wouldn't expect. Let me show you an example. I'm going to pull up a popular DJ on TikTok and show you one of his videos. I got a feeling, I got a feeling. I got this feeling on this summer day when you were gone. I pushed my car into the bridge, I looked, I let it burn. I threw it into a bag and pushed it down the stairs. Let me hear you! I don't care. Did you notice what happened there? It wasn't just that he connected two songs with a cool beat mix. It was he used the exact same lyric. I got a feeling to I got this feeling on a summer day when you were gone. That's what he used to connect the two songs. Now I'll show you another example of how this can be done. This is another popular one that I've seen DJs do, but I'm going to show you how to do it on a piano. So let's go over to the piano. We're going to use Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time to kind of give you the starting idea, but it's my loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe, when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign, hit me, baby, one more time, 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 one more time. So basically that song hits really hard when people hear it, and because it's got this great like driving four on the floor kind of beat. And so it's a great one to transition into, but there's several songs that use the lyric one more time. And if you can connect those two lyrics, all of a sudden you have a little medley or mashup available to you. By paying attention to the lyrics of a song, maybe the musical melody, the chord structure, the beat, even the theme of the song itself, what the song is about and what it means, you could find that there are connections between one song and another that naturally lead one song into the next. It's almost like one song is giving the question and the next song is giving the answer. And if you pay attention to that, you can easily create this flowing medley of music that doesn't necessarily have to finish every song. It just keeps going like you would see with a DJ. Now, yes, in the beginning, this will take some practice, but once you get used to the routine of looking for those kinds of ideas, you will elevate your show to that next level. The third DJ inspired technique that I want to talk about today is understanding the energy and the ability to read the room. DJs are experts at reading the room. They pay attention to what is working and what is not working. And when something is not working, they make sure to transition out of it, not just get out of it, but get out of it quickly and move on to the next thing. They also know that when something is really working, you crank that dial to 11, you add the energy, you get on the microphone and you start pumping it up for people. You make it bigger, you make it more exciting. You need to make it into this experience for the crowd. The thing that I find DJs do really well is something that I would call energy mapping. Energy mapping is basically understanding what's going to work, what's not going to work, and how to plan for that. Musicians do the same thing in a smaller way. They do this with creating a set list. But the problem with creating a set list is that most musicians think that whatever they created, they're just going to go with. And when something is not working, you have to learn to move on from it. We all live in this day and age where we're on screens every day. We as a society have the shortest attention spans that we have ever had. So, what do you think that means for when you are playing in a band and the crowd is not enjoying your song? They are going to leave, they're going to go get a drink, they're going to go to the bathroom, and they might not come back to the dance floor. You have to learn to act quickly. Even this brilliantly planned video, which I'm talking to you right now, which is full of useful information, is too much for most people. We as musicians often have more patience than the average person because we're used to playing things in full. So we're used to listening to things in full. That also means that we don't necessarily recognize when our audience is bored with a bad song choice or even a piece of the song that just plain old loses the crowd. There are tons of songs out there where you get to the bridge of the song and it's a different vibe than the entire rest of the song. And if you play that bridge, you lose the crowd. If you just pay attention, you learn to do things like eliminate that bridge. Even something as simple as a song choice that runs too long, if you add too many solos in, stuff like that does not keep a crowd engaged anymore. It's too much. It's too much of the same. They want something new, something different, something to give them that dopamine rush and keep them excited to be at your performance. That's why you have to think quick changes as often as possible. Even something like this video that I'm talking to you right now, a lot of video experts say that if you don't make a cut every 2 seconds or so, you will lose your audience during those longer periods. It's the same thing with live music. Now, what bands could do to get themselves better at this is to learn to watch the energy of the room very closely and pay attention and be ready to throw in higher energy numbers or slow it down if need be. Similar to how a DJ finds a way to drop the beat and make it more exciting, you want to find those peak moments in your show, find the way to elevate and make that ebb and flow so that the audience stays engaged for the whole night. The special events band that I play with does this extremely well. They have found a way to make songs that don't seem exciting at the right point in time of the show. So not everything has to be exciting, but if the flow is the right way, you're going to keep your audience engaged throughout the whole night. So a couple of other things to consider when you are performing on stage is get yourself into a DJ mindset. How can you guide the show from the one piece to the next? How can you keep the energy up for the night? DJs tend to do things like they are the MC for the whole night. They do a lot of call and answer. It's guiding the event the way that they want it to go. They keep the energy where they want it to be for a given point in the night. And you do that by constantly talking with your audience. You can do this as a live performer. It can be your band leader, it can be your lead singer, it can just be somebody that's on stage who is good at talking to an audience. Learn to engage the crowd with talking throughout the night, not just while you're singing songs and not just before your show or at the end of the night. Learn to keep it consistent. And the big one that I want to say before we close this all out is encourage as much crowd participation as you can. DJs hype their crowd all night with calls and responses. Bands, because of their live energy, have the ability to do this even better. But you do have to plan out a certain amount of engagement moments. You want to learn how to consistently engage your audience. The more you do that, the more you are creating an experience for your fans. So to recap, DJs do a lot of great things on stage. And if you and I want to compete with live music in that special event space or any other space really where there's live music, we need to learn to do a few things. We need to learn to control the flow of the show. We need to create those exciting mashups, that constant energy that can ebb and flow at our command. We can bend it to our will. And you have to read the room. You have to know when something is working or not working. And you have to be able to react to that. So practice that. Constantly try to work to make yourself better at that. Combining those strategies with the power of a live band, and you do it right, you're untouchable. It won't matter how much it costs. If you are that good, people will be searching for you. So that's it for this week. Now, if you are serious about leveling up your show, once again, I'm going to encourage you to check out DannyRobertsonMusic.com and take a look at our paid offerings, because there's a lot available out there that dives deep into the psychology of how your audience experiences your show and what you can do to make that work better for you. Remember to think like a DJ. Best of luck to you on your next live show, and we'll see you soon. Take care.